A 30-minute trip across a Puget Sound took much longer when strong winds and waves gave riders a show.
What began as a routine 30-minute ferry crossing across the Puget Sound slowly transformed into something far more unsettling. Winds intensified without warning. Waves rose higher with every passing minute. The vessel pitched and rolled as water slammed into its sides, forcing passengers to cling to railings and brace for impact. One man stood frozen, gripping the edge as waves exploded around him, caught between awe and fear. At the very same moment, far beyond that ferry's path, alarms were lighting up across monitoring stations along the U.S. West Coast. Scientists watching live data feeds saw numbers spike in ways they had never documented before. Just 1 minute ago, massive waves, some exceeding 60 feet, began slamming into the coastline, stretching from Southern California to the Pacific Northwest. This was not a single storm surge. This was a system-wide event. California's edge, its cities, beaches, highways, and defenses, was suddenly under direct assault. Chapter 1. The Pacific Ocean breaks its pattern. For generations, coastal engineers believed they understood the Pacific Ocean. Violent, yes, but predictable within limits. Storms followed familiar paths. Wave heights stayed within design tolerances. Today, those assumptions collapsed. From San Diego's iconic piers to the forested capes of Washington state, waves arrived with shocking speed and density. What frightened experts wasn't only the height, it was the velocity. Wave after wave arrived before the coastline could recover from the last impact. Energy stacked on top of energy. Concrete seawalls, built to withstand once-in-a-century storms, were overtopped within minutes. Levees designed with decades of safety margins failed almost immediately. The ocean was no longer testing defenses. It was overwhelming them. Scientists now say the Pacific crossed a physical and statistical threshold, entering a behavior zone never experienced in the modern observational era. Chapter 2. When defenses fall, communities follow. As water pushed inland, chaos spread through coastal neighborhoods. Homes trembled under repeated impacts. Roads cracked and buckled as saturated soil lost stability. Waves poured through storefronts and living rooms alike, dragging furniture, vehicles, and personal histories into the surf. Families fled with seconds to spare. In some areas, neighbors carried children and elderly residents across chest-deep water filled with debris. Others smashed windows to escape rising flood levels. Emergency shelters filled beyond capacity. Their hallways echoed with disbelief, exhaustion, and grief. People arrived soaked, barefoot, clutching pets, documents, or nothing at all. Hospitals near the coast reported a surge in injuries, from debris impacts to hypothermia. City command centers relayed evacuation alerts as infrastructure failed in cascading waves. Sirens screamed through city streets, often drowned out by the relentless roar of the sea. The beaches, symbols of California's freedom and escape, vanished beneath churning water, sealed off by emergency tape and armed checkpoints. Chapter 3. A coastline unraveling in real time. Aerial footage revealed the scale of destruction. In Santa Monica, sections of boardwalk fractured and disappeared. In Huntington Beach, parking lots split open as palm trees toppled, roots exposed before being pulled into the surf. Highway 1, California's legendary coastal route, lost entire sections as waves stripped away, supporting soils beneath the asphalt. Cars floated at intersections in San Francisco as seawater surged inland block by block. Power infrastructure faltered under salt spray and flooding. Substations short-circuited. Rolling blackouts spread across coastal zones. Cell towers failed during critical moments, leaving evacuees without direction or updates. Emergency agencies warned that some communities must evacuate immediately, not just because of rising water, but because access routes were vanishing. What made the crisis uniquely dangerous was its speed. This was not evolving day by day. It was changing minute by minute. Chapter 4. The science no one was ready for. Behind the scenes, scientists scrambled to understand what they were witnessing. This event, they now believe, was driven by a rare convergence of forces. Anomalous Pacific storm tracks, ultra-low atmospheric pressure systems, long-period ocean swells generated thousands of miles offshore. Persistent marine heat waves, amplifying storm energy. Monitoring stations at places like Scripps Pier recorded wave heights exceeding 60 feet. Sustained, not isolated. Each incoming set carried more energy than the last. Marine heat waves warmed surface waters, increasing evaporation and feeding storms with additional power. Long-period swells transmitted energy deeper inland, allowing waves to retain strength even after breaking. In some regions, ocean pressure reversed river flows, sending saltwater miles upstream. Farmland salinity spiked. Freshwater intakes were threatened. Computer models, once considered robust, failed to predict the scale, speed, and interaction of these forces. Scientists now classify this as a compound hazard disaster, where multiple systems fail simultaneously, amplifying one another beyond control. Chapter 5. When land becomes unstable. As the waves continued, slower but more insidious dangers emerged. Protective dunes dissolved within hours. Sand berms engineered to protect harbors vanished almost instantly. Bluffs crumbled, pushing homes closer to collapse with every impact. Satellite imagery revealed neighborhoods reshaped in real time. Streets erased, parks submerged, coastlines redrawn. Groundwater levels surged beneath cities, flooding basements far from the shoreline. Foundations weakened. Elevation, once a guarantee of safety, lost its meaning. Emergency shelters filled with families who had never been considered at risk. Flood maps were rewritten repeatedly as water breached zones once thought secure. Insurance claims flooded in from unexpected areas. Evacuation plans became outdated within hours. Rescue teams deployed rafts to move patients through submerged streets. Hospitals ran on backup generators as power failures spread. Experts warned that the coastline had aged decades, perhaps centuries, in a single afternoon. Chapter 6. A warning beyond the storm. As night fell, the waves did not slow. Shelters glowed under generator light. Radios crackled with updates. Rescue crews prepared for another round. Scientists analyzed incoming data with growing urgency and growing concern. This was no longer about a single storm. The central question now loomed: are these extremes becoming the new baseline? If so, the implications are profound. Traditional coastal defenses, higher walls, thicker levees, may no longer be enough. Experts are now discussing managed retreat, floating infrastructure, redesigned flood zones, and early warning systems capable of responding in real time. Adaptation is no longer theoretical, it is immediate. The coast after the line was crossed. By morning, drones revealed neighborhoods underwater, roads erased, and familiar landscapes transformed beyond recognition. Families returned to mud-filled homes. Silence replaced the roar. Shock mixed with resolve. Some spoke of rebuilding. Others questioned whether rebuilding was even possible. The data tells a sobering story. Thresholds crossed, margins erased, and a coastline entering uncharted territory. The Pacific is not waiting. It keeps coming. Rewriting maps with every surge. Stay vigilant. Stay informed, and stay with us as we continue covering this unfolding story. Because what happens next will shape not just the West Coast, but how humanity lives with a changing ocean.